get one.
All right, so we've got a smattering of offerings here from refugemedical.com, and we're going to ascertain, that's a big word for figure out, which one of these kits is probably going to be the best kit for you.
Yeah.
So let's go through a process of elimination here. So you do firearm stuff, so we want the ability to treat potentially firearms-related injuries, right? So all 4 of these kits do that. This is the Adventure Kit. And we tell people that's for bullet holes, broken bones, and Band-Aids. It covers like everything. And it's actually in a CLS bag or a Combat Lifesaver bag. We make these here in America, American made. It's got all the stuff in it. So you could deal with gunshot wounds, punctures to your chest cavity, a broken bone, a turned ankle, a Band-Aid. Like we had a bunch of people yell at us because they're like, Bear, none of your kits have Band-Aids in them. And so we put Band-Aids because my mind doesn't go there, even though I have kids too. But anyway, so there's Band-Aids in here. Probably a little big for you to wear at the range.
Maybe.
You think so?
Maybe.
I think it's a little scotch. So then next smallest size down, this is the Bear Fac.
Cool.
Because I'm Bear and I came up with it, and FAC is first aid kit, so branding, marketing, the whole nine. And this, like, you can run this on your rucksack or your war belt. Do you have a rucksack?
I don't even know what it is.
Oh my gosh, we got to go rucking. Can I get a fist bump? We'll go rucking and teach you some patrolling stuff. So you rip this open. Here, pull that red handle. Yank on it. There you go. Now, see this right here? This little red tab?
Yeah.
Pull that red tab. You are good at this, right?
I'm strong.
You are strong. So this has like all your stuff in it for what's called the March algorithm, which is massive bleeding, airway and respiratory, circulation, head injury, hypothermia, and then everything else. And that's prioritized in what's called an algorithm, meaning that we want to start with massive bleeding first because we need to keep as much blood inside the body as possible. It sounds like super basic, and it is super basic, but if all the blood runs out of your body, you're no longer with us. It's like a major problem, right? And so you got your tourniquet and your pressure bandage here, gloves and blah, blah, blah. This is our massive bleeding stuff. Go ahead and pull that out.
Like all of it?
Yeah, good. That's called the stack. Nice. All right. So these are shears for arts and crafts, like gluing pom-poms onto paper towel rolls and stuff like that. Or cutting clothes off of people if you need to find a wound. Big gauze, because if we need like big gauze, we need it now. I don't want to go looking for it. It's right there. This is called a nose noodle. And usually in class, we offer somebody a $20 bill to stick this up their nose, and nobody does it because it's uncomfortable. Twitch will have to do it to himself, but it's okay. We pay him to do that. I think you got one of your beard hairs on here. No, not your beard. Okay. So anyway, this is a nose noodle, and then this is a burn dressing, which is like super important.
Okay.
Burn dressings are sterile. You know what that means? So like there's no germs on here because burns, it's really important that you keep them sterile because we don't want infections.
Okay.
And so this is a sterile burn dressing. And then these are chest seals. So if you get a hole in the box, which is in between your neck and your navel, your belly button, all the way around, that's called the pleural space, and that's where your lungs are at inside of there.
Yeah.
So take a deep breath. Okay, so when you breathe in, your diaphragm, which is the muscle right here that sits near your belly button, it's pulling down. And when it pulls down, your lungs expand.
Okay.
And when you blow out, it's pushing back up and it's collapsing your lungs. It's expelling the carbon dioxide out of your lungs. Well, what happens if you have a hole in the box, when you go, instead of air coming in through your airway, your nose and your mouth, it comes in through the hole. That's called a sucking chest wound, and that like really sucks. No pun intended. And so the way we deal with that is these things are super sticky, and you tell the person if they have a hole in their chest, you say, you knife hand them, you go like this, you go, exhale, exhale, exhale. Okay, you yell at them, and then they go, and you take one of these, you stick it on the hole, and you cover the hole up, and then now, when the diaphragm pulls down, because we covered the hole up, we've reestablished a vacuum in the pleural space, so the lungs will fill up again so they can continue to breathe.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So like, super simple, we put the sticky stuff on the holes in the box. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. And then this is our everything else down here. And this has got like, we've got some quick clot in here for like, have you ever packed a wound? Oh, we're gonna pack a wound today. Yeah, we're gonna get twisted, pack a wound with you. So if you have like a hole in somebody that we need to get some gauze in there to put pressure on the bleeding vessel that's inside of there, this is called a hemostatic dressing, and we can shove that in the hole, and that applies pressure to the bleeding vessel and it pinches it off. Have you ever taken a garden hose and folded it in half? And you know how like the water stops? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing.
Okay.
You have like garden hoses running all through your body that moves the blood around. And so when we stick the gauze in there, it pinches off the garden hose. It applies pressure to it so that the blood stops coming out. Because we want to keep the blood inside the body, right? Mm-hmm. Like super duper important, super basic. And then this is everything else. So we got a burrito blanket in here. Yeah, it's like, you ever wrap a tinfoil, like tacos in tinfoil or something?
No.
You don't know about tinfoil?
Well, I do know about tinfoil, but I've never wrapped a taco.
Why
in it.
not? You don't like tacos?
Well, I do like tacos.
Okay, you like tacos and bull pups.
I like homemade tacos, but like no real meat or veggies in it. Just cheese.
Okay.
The tortilla.
Uh-huh.
And some queso.
Nice.
Not queso. Quinoa.
Quinoa
for the meat.
Okay.
It's spicy.
Okay. So, tinfoil, right? Tinfoil keeps stuff warm, helps keep it warm. That's basically what this is. It helps keep the person warm. It's super important. Hypothermia is part of what's called the lethal triad, which is not something you probably need to know at 9 years old, but it's coagulopathy, acidosis, and hypothermia.
I don't even know what any of that is.
Most people don't either, kiddo. Don't sweat it. But it all comes back to keep the blood inside the body, because none of those things are problems if we keep the blood inside the body, right? So it's important-ish, but super basic, keep the blood inside the body. And so that's how the Bearfac works. But I think it's probably too big for you to run around with as well.
Yeah.
So we take this, slide this out of here, like so. And this is the SOB, or the small of the back kit. It's like made for war belts and plate carriers.
Yeah.
And then this is the ARC, or the advanced rip-away kit, which will also work on a war belt or a plate carrier, but it's also a really good vehicle kit.
Okay.
And you saw this one on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twitch.
So
he actually showed us like how it works, really.
You want to take that one apart?
Yeah.
Go ahead. There you go. Why don't you pull the stuff out? Like, show us what's in it. Good job. All right, so these are gloves, right? You know the basic rule of gloves? Super simple. Great rule for human beings. You're a human, right? If it's wet and not yours, don't touch it. Okay? If it's wet and not yours, don't touch it. So that's why we have gloves. Because there are things called bloodborne illnesses. Somebody else could have a sickness in their blood, and if they get their blood on you, that could cause you to get sick as well. And so that's why we have gloves.
Okay.
If it's wet and not yours, don't touch it. If it's your mom or your dad or your siblings or somebody that you know intimately, that you know really well, and we have to render aid, like if Dudley, our camera guy, had an issue, I love him. I'm gonna stick my fingers all in him and over him, and I'm gonna deal with it. But if it's a random person that I just met out there in the world, I'm definitely gonna put gloves on first, because I don't know if that person has any sicknesses that I don't know about.
Yeah.
So, super simple rule. If it's wet and not yours, don't touch it. Cool?
Yep.
What's that? Open it up.
Open the bag.
Yeah. Wreck it.
Feels silicone-y.
It does. Stretch it.
Kind of hurt my finger yesterday, though.
There you go.
That's stretchy.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's called an S-mark bandage, or a compression wrap. And this is basically just like an exercise band from the 80s before you existed. Like people would wear really tight clothing and leg warmers and like dance around with big hair with stuff like this. But this can work like a tourniquet, like so, and just like that, and it'll cut the blood flow off to your arm or any extremity, your arms, your legs. But it also works really well as a compression bandage. And so if we had a wound on our arm or something where we had to stick some gauze in there and then we needed to hold it in place,
you would wrap that around.
you can, yeah, there we go. Get it started, pull tight like so, and then you just tuck the end underneath like so. And now I've got compression on that wound to like hold everything together.
Yeah.
So it's a cool little piece of kit, right?
Yeah.
So that's compression, which we use for like dressing wounds.
Yeah, I already see quick clot.
Yeah, that's quick clot. Don't eat this stuff. Okay? So it reacts to moisture, not just blood, but moisture. And so if you throw it in a puddle, it's gonna suck up moisture. If you stick it in your eyeball, it's gonna suck up moisture. If you eat it, it's gonna suck up moisture. So it's not just blood, but it's moisture that it reacts to. And it's called a hemostatic impregnated gauze. And hemostatic just means that like it sucks up blood. And there's little tiny itty bitty bits of clay that are impregnated, that are shoved into the gauze. So that if I had like, if Twitch over there stabbed me in the arm and I had, right, and I had this hole in my arm, first of all, you knife hand Twitch, and you said, why are you stabbing people in the arm? Go stand in the corner and think about what you did, okay? Then we pull the knife out, and then you would stick this in there, okay?
Yeah.
So that's wound packing, which we're gonna show you in a hot minute. What's this?
I don't know.
That is a mini compression bandage. Have you ever seen like an ace bandage, like for wrapping up an ankle or a wrist? It's like stretchy.
I mean, I've seen them on movies, but never really in real life.
Okay, we'll get you one of those too before you leave.
Okay.
But it's basically just a stretchy bandage with a big piece of gauze. It's like a giant Band-Aid. It's basically what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, you wanna open it up?
Sure.
Okay. See how it has that little notch right there?
Yeah.
Just grab it and rip right there. Good job. If a 9-year-old can do this stuff, like grown-ups don't have excuses. Pull it apart.
Okay.
See, it's a giant Band-Aid,
Yeah.
right?
Come on. Come on. Is it Velcro?
Yeah, it's got Velcro on it.
Cool.
Here, wrap that around my arm. So let's pretend Twitch stabbed me in the arm right here. And here, I'll inflict my own injury. So here's the injury right there.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna put the gauze down, right? Use that first bit of Velcro right here just to get it started. Now pull tight. Okay, pull it tight. Good, come around. Okay, pull it tight again. Good, wrap it around, pull it tight again. Okay, and then see those clips right there? Exactly. Look at this, intuitive. You're going places, kid. Yep. And now you come back to the knife hands where you go, suck it up, Buttercup, don't die. Right? Ah! So you go ahead, do the knife hand. Ah, my arm hurts so much. Suck it up, Buttercup, don't die. So that's how that works.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what's in this pouch. Then up here, this is a decompression needle, which is used for decompressing the tension pneumothorax, which is something that you probably don't need to know because you're 9 years old. But it's if there's too much pressure in the empty space where your lungs are at, that's an invasive medical intervention that allows that extra pressure to bleed off. This is a Sharpie so that you can draw unicorns and stars on me while I'm screaming. It's also for writing the time that a tourniquet was applied. And usually you can write that on the person's hand or on the tourniquet, or oftentimes they'll write it on the person's forehead. So that way you can't miss it when the ambulance shows up and there's numbers on the person's forehead, like, hey, what time did this tourniquet go on? That's when it went on. So that's why the Sharpie's in there. We talked about the shears for arts and crafts and stuff, right? And then in this bottom pouch right here, you want to pull that stuff out?
Shears roll a little weight.
You can pull it out one at a time too if you need to.
I might need to because my chair likes to run away.
There you go.
I already see 2 cheese packets.
Cheese packets. So,
Cheese.
so in here, in this kit, we've got 2 packages of high-fin chest seals. Remember, what do we do if there's a hole in the box?
Stick that on.
Put the sticky stuff on it, right? And we tell them before we put the sticky stuff, what do we tell them to do?
Be quiet.
And exhale.
And exhale. Yeah.
And exhale.
Yeah, I forgot.
Oh, you're cool. It's all good. This is the nose noodle.
Yep.
Remember, that's for maintaining a patent airway.
Yeah.
So that gets oxygen from our face to our lungs. So super important. And then that's gauze.
Okay, yeah.
Have you ever seen one of those opened?
No.
You want to open one?
Yeah.
Okay, so same thing. See the red tab? Tear at the red tab. Pull it out. And then when you get it in your hands, get it like this and kind of smush it back and forth.
Like this?
Like this, like that. Do that. Wiggle it back and forth. Okay, flip it over. Wiggle it back and forth.
Oh, I've seen gauze before.
Okay, so now, somewhere in here, there's the start of it.
Yep.
Have you ever seen this like fully unrolled?
No.
Here, you hold that end. And pull. And keep pulling. And keep pulling. And keep pulling. And keep pulling. Keep pulling.
Oh, this is a lot. Finally, this, yes. That's a lot of gauze.
So this is 12 feet
12 feet
of
of
gauze.
Okay.
Approximately 2.5 times as tall as you are of gauze. And so this stuff is like super useful. See how like spongy it is?
Yeah, it's spongy and kind of soft.
Have you ever seen like when you put a paper towel on a wet spot, it just sucks it all up?
Yeah.
That's called capillary action. And the way that works is because of the surface area of the paper towel. And so see how it's like all interwoven in there? It's got all those little tiny strings and fibers.
Looks like a sweater.
Yes, exactly. And so that creates a high amount of surface area that allows that capillary action to happen.
Yeah.
And so we use this stuff for wound packing.
Okay.
We can shove this into holes in people's bodies when they're screaming, ah, and suck it up, buttercup, and you stick this in the hole. We can also use this for wrapping up injuries if we have them.
Yes.
You can make a sling out of this. Not a rifle sling, although you probably could. But you could sling somebody's arm with this. So it's got a lot of uses. And there's 2 packages of this gauze in here. So you've got the gauze, you've got the high-fin chest seals, you've got the pressure bandage, you've got the quick clot, you've got the S-mark bandage. And so you can do a lot of wound packing with this kit. You can apply a lot of chest seals with this kit. And then the heart of any good trauma kit is we've got a soft T tourniquet right here.
Yeah.
And that's the same one. I carry one every day in my back pocket. This is it right here. You ever seen one of these?
I think Twitch showed us one of those.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yep. And so this is different than a cat tourniquet, but this is the soft T. It works the same way as the cat does. It's called a windlass tourniquet. So this stick right here is the windlass.
Okay, yeah. Twitch did show us one of those.
Mm-hmm. And when you spin it, when you twist this up, it constricts this band in here, tightens it down, and makes the blood flow stop.
Yeah.
So you put these on high and tight, right? This one you have to ratchet down. So get it up there like that, and then you need to turn that. And don't be afraid to hurt me. Keep going. One more. Okay. And then that stick goes in there.
Oh, I gotta stand up.
Yep, you can get it. There you go. There you go. Boom. Look, already see the veins standing out in the back of my hand? that means you've constricted the flow of blood to my hand. So good job, fist bump. And so this tourniquet, this soft T tourniquet, comes with the arc as well. And then we've got a cat tourniquet on the SOB, which is kind of the same thing. The SOB has very similar contents in it, but this has an internal pouch that comes out. And then this little envelope has all your stuff inside of it,
Cool.
right?
Yeah.
So that way this can stay mounted to your belt, and you can pull this out and grab it if you need it. The red handle is kind of our thing. Like,
Yeah.
that way visually you can see, oh, the red handle, yank it out. And but this one, it has this mounting platform on the back. And so you can like molly this onto your gun belt or your plate carrier or your headrest in your car. And then when you need it, see that red handle again? Pull that red handle. Pull! There you go. So this can stay on your headrest or on your gun belt or on your plate carrier or whatever.
Yeah, and then you have all your medical stuff in here.
Exactly. And what's cool is, depending on where you're wearing this, if you're doing medic stuff, like you're working on somebody else, you can leave this stuck to your plate carrier, pull your stuff out and work on somebody, or you can rip it off and throw it on the ground next to the casualty and then start working on them.
Yeah.
So that's the arc. So which one do you think you want to build? Like, which one you want to take home? And how much glitter are you going to put on it? Because I noticed you got a little glitter thing going on.
Yeah, I did my makeup earlier.
Like 10% glitter, 140% glitter, 92% glitter,
1,000.
1,000% glitter? Okay.
I like glitter.
Okay, copy that. So lots of glitter. Cool. So this is the one you want to build?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I like this one.
Awesome. Well, let's do that. Hey, thanks for beating me up. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.